Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. It's Tech Friday, and let's get pretzel pause there. There we go. And today, I have a guest. I have an excellent streamer and creator of Tiny Hat Labs, Stephen Joyce. Stephen, introduce yourself
Hello.
to the peoples.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Stephen Joyce, variety streamer. Just celebrated 7 years streaming on Twitch. Play a bunch of different games, usually something cute and cozy or puzzles, adventure, that sort of stuff. And like DC, I have quite a strong love of a certain Stream Deck and all of the things it can do. So yeah, that's me.
All right, excellent. And oh yeah, I didn't introduce myself. I'm DC. Hi, this is my channel.
Hi, DC.
Hi, you can type !DC in my chat to get all my links. Go to dclasair.bio.link. So that's a link to all my links. Go there and just go through and click them once because that makes the bio link graph go up. You don't even have to interact with anything on the links. I just want to see the bio link graph go up. So just click each link in a separate browser and then make the graph go up.
Graphs going up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pleasant. All right. So today we're here to talk about tech. It's amazing. I call it Tech Friday, and we're doing talks about tech. So the first thing up will be the, if I can say it right, the Atom Vertical plugin for OBS. I believe that is the full official title.
Yep.
And what they would like people to use. So.
I have heard 70 different pronunciations of the word atom, but it is atom, apparently.
Yep. So, and thank you, Herb. That is my previous Tech Friday video with it in, but Stephen really enjoys it. Steve enjoys. So
Steve enjoys Atom plugin. Yes, indeed.
What happens on the donuts? Atom. So
I'm going to push the badum tish. You can't hear it, but I'm pushing it. I can hear it. Wow.
Brilliant. Love it.
Although actually, I think I can probably turn that sound effect on. But yeah.
Yeah, just have it come through your feed. Just
exactly. I was going to say, I just add it to the feed. We can do that. We have the technology, literally.
All right. So let me do a thing. All right. So let's get into this. I can. So tell us all about the Atom Vertical plugin for OBS.
Absolutely. It is, as the name suggests, a plugin for OBS that allows you to record replay buffers, but in a vertical friendly format. As everybody knows, especially anyone who streams, discoverability isn't always great on Twitch. So getting your videos out to YouTube Shorts, to TikTok, places like that in a vertical format is super useful. But editing a standard 16:9 format video to put it into that format can be an absolute pain in the butt. It's not hard, but it's time consuming. And if you want to produce 2 or 3 shorts a week, every week for ages, that's a lot of extra time. The vertical plugin is essentially an extra set of OBS scenes that you have. So just like your normal OBS scenes, but in a vertical format, a vertical canvas. And you can record X number of minutes of your stream just like you would the replay buffer. You can also run both together. So you can have the replay buffer running and the Atom vertical plugin running at the same time. You can even, I assume, multi-action that to record both at a single button press. And then if you needed to punch into a particular part of the screen wide or punch in, you could do that. But it is, I think it's the best thing I've installed in OBS since it came out. I think it's the best thing I've installed in OBS probably in a year. I've never made as many shorts as I have made last month and a bit. I don't know who this person is. He's being left, right, and center all the time. It's so easy. Although there is one downside I have discovered on that note. It's real easy to hit the button every time you think something interesting happened and end up with a folder with what was it, 343 gigs
Oh
of
wow.
Mac recordings and replay buffer recordings. Between the two of them, it's 300 and I think 320 something gigs. Because I wasn't going through them at the end of a stream every night. So I ended up just kind of going push, 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 push every stream. Or like when I'm playing like Valorant, for example, in the evenings, I might play Valorant for 3 or 4 hours. So I'm going boop, 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 anytime anything interesting happens, because you never know. Better to record it and throw it out later. And yeah, you end up with hundreds of videos. So maybe one downside, it's almost too easy to get the videos you want.
All right. We're
But
going.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I cannot speak highly enough about it.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here is go over, and I've put you. We're going to switch it live, doing it live, so you
Yeah,
can go
doing it
over the
live.
things. I have
Heck yeah.
put you in the scene so everyone can see you.
Ooh.
I've cut me out of it.
But you're the important one here.
No, no, no.
You're the host.
So you'll. I know because of the setup, we can't exactly screen share. So if you observe your thingy, your
I will.
oops,
Observing thingy. Copy that.
observing thingy. Yeah,
Technical term between like producers.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can shrink you up a bit. I'm just placing you in a window because it looks nice. All right, so you're gonna tell me to go to different features on it, and we'll go over it, and you can show off what you really like and don't like, and tell me what buttons to hit, and I will attempt to follow along. Hey, now we can talk about the vertical plugin. All
Oh,
right,
look at that. That's super cool.
Steven, say all that stuff you did earlier.
Say all that stuff again. Cool. Yes. So this is the vertical plugin for those of you who've never seen it before. And I say it is absolutely my favorite OBS plugin in the last year. Easily my favorite OBS plugin for producing, easy to export to, TikTok and YouTube Shorts stuff to improve discoverability. And it functions just like your ordinary OBS, canvas that you would use normally, and it functions alongside it. And you can do pretty much anything you can do in OBS, like on a normal canvas, you can do in this vertical format. One of the cool things that I like to do, because OBS does scenes as sources. So say DC has made that scene there right now. Say you want to make another scene that's very similar to your vertical gaming, call it vertical gaming like extra wide or vertical gaming 2 or whatever you like. You can make that as a scene and then put it in as a source back into your game scene. So what I have on my vertical setup is I actually have in my game scene 4 other game scenes all sitting on top of each other. That then allows me to control how much of the game is visible and things like where your camera is and other stuff like that.
And yeah, as you can see, so I've added as a source my scene, my guest mode scene, which is twice, so I can have our cameras, Steven up there and me down here, and I just cut it differently to fit us in. And you can also see I have my background. There's, can shut that off. So I could put my game scene here, click that, and as you can see now it's black, but the game could go here. I could change my green screen, and we'd all see the game background.
Yep. And because some games, you want them to be full screen, so you want just a small version of you at the top or a small version of you at the bottom, and the rest of it's just game. Like FPS games, full screen is great because all the action happens in the middle of the screen anyway. That's where the focus is. But say you're playing something like a puzzle game where you want your audience to be able to see more of the screen, all you do is add an extra game scene on top of everything, and then you have to push a button. You can basically shrink the game down vertically so that they can see more of it horizontally. So that's what I do when I'm playing a game. If it's a game that works fine full screen, no problem, don't have to change anything. But for example, I was playing a game the other night where there was a manual you had to read. which means if you're only reading the middle of the screen, you're kind of missing half the words on each side.
Mhm.
So I pressed a button on my Stream Deck, which switches which vertical scene I'm using at the time. It turns off the full screen one and shows the one underneath it, which is slightly more widescreen friendly. And then if I needed even more widescreen, I could push another button. It would switch off that scene. It basically goes full screen, wide, wider, widest. And I have these little buttons on my Stream Deck that I push, depending on how much of the screen I need.
Excellent.
And the widest one is, it's the game gets quite small because the wider it gets, the shorter it gets. But you can control where it sits in the screen. So I move the game up a bit so that it sits kind of in the middle of the screen, and I move my camera up a bit so it's out of the way. But you can basically customize ready-made game screens for whatever types of games you play. I've got 4, but say I suddenly found a different game that needed a slightly different layout, you can do that. Change where your camera is, change what else is on the screen at the same time. Do you want your alerts to show up in these vertical things or not? Do you want an on-screen animation to show up or not? You can build all of this in to your vertical scenes just like you would your normal scenes. And you can customize it practically per game if you really wanted to. Like, say you played 5 games, 5 specific games. You could basically build a scene for every single one of those games. And then at the push of a button, you can save a replay of however many minutes you want. I don't know what the theoretical maximum is. I think mine is set to 3 minutes for both replay buffer and the vertical plugin. But I mean, it's stored in RAM, so if you've got lots of RAM spare, you could save probably
right here, right down here in the corner.
Yes, click that.
And then I gotta move it over because it's in my other window.
Ah,
there you go.
hey, Panda.
And then backtrack recording length. Mine's set for 2 minutes.
Aye, I've gone as high as 4, but like I'm pretty sure you could do more if you wanted. Also, that handy little tick box there, backtrack always on, which means if you're, say, for example, wanting to use the replay buffer, this is something I do. I play Valorant in the evenings, but I don't stream Valorant. So normally I'm not recording or streaming when I'm playing Valorant. But if I keep OBS open in the corner, if something awesome happens, I just press a button on my Stream Deck, and because backtrack is always on for me, it'll record it for me, no problem, and tuck it away in a folder. You don't have to be recording, you don't have to be streaming. You can just use it as just an instant replay button, which is super handy.
All right. And when you switch scenes, like there's nothing in the gaming scene because of how I have this set up right now. But so we have vertical chatting, vertical gaming, and you can relate these to your already set up scenes in OBS. So when you switch those scenes, these automatically switch.
I should have mentioned that, but yes, the relational thing is great. So you don't even have to worry about your vertical scenes because if you switch from lobby to game, the vertical plugin has switched from lobby to game. Brilliant.
And like I showed here, you just right click on it, link scenes, and like this will link to my host mode, so it's just me. And then the game view links to my game view scene. So when I switch those in OBS, they automatically switch there, and I just have to have a button to record, or I can hit the record button down here, right down below me over there, and it'll start recording, and whatever scenes I switch.
And of course, it has a hotkey which you can set. So if you happen to have a Stream Deck, easy peasy. Put your replay buffer button and your backtrack button side by side, and then you get to choose whether you record vertical or horizontal or both. Easy peasy.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to cover about this before we move on to?
I don't know whether I was muted when I talked about the one downside of the plugin being that you will end up with a plugin folder, with a recording folder full of recordings, because it's so easy to use that you will end up with lots of them, which is the one hazard. It's that easy to use that I have ended up with hundreds of gigs of recordings because I keep pressing the button.
Below me, this little blue button here will rewind time, and as you saw earlier, it'll go back 2 minutes and start recording. So basically what's happening is Stephen was kind of hitting this button over and over and was recording 2 minutes, or in his case, 3 minutes, constantly capturing 3 minutes and filling up his hard drive.
Yeah. not my fault my streams are that awesome, but I'm like, oh, I want to save that moment, save that moment, save that moment.
And
But
hello,
actually, it
Panda.
is,
No, go
huh?
ahead.
I would say it is handy though, because sometimes you'll think a funny thing has happened and you'll go, oh, I should clip that moment. You press the button and then someone else says something funny and you're like, darn, now I've got to press it again. And I've now recorded the same 2 minutes and 53 seconds over each other. That happens a lot. But it's so good, especially say if discoverability is a thing that you worry about as a streamer, and a lot of people do. Being able to put stuff on TikTok or YouTube, I really need to get onto TikTok. I do nothing with my TikTok page. But yeah, being able to put stuff together on TikTok and stuff like that is great. I went from basically never producing a short. Like prior to this, I had, I think, 2 or 3 YouTube shorts that I made, because taking a widescreen version, putting it into an editor, cutting out the camera and putting it somewhere, layering things on top of each other, doing the subtitles and all the sort of stuff, it just takes a lot of time. And I take a long time because I worry about things I shouldn't worry about. So I take a long time to do it. So it becomes this 1 minute that you produce, but it took you 100 minutes to make. Whereas now, in the last, I don't know what, the last 2 weeks, I've put out 15 shorts. 3 weeks, 15 shorts, something huge, like many, many times my normal, because I push a button and it does most of the work for me. I drop it into an editor, chop it a little for size, put the captions in, export it as an MP4, and then off it goes to YouTube when I want to. It's so much easier. That even if you've never thought about shorts before, it's definitely worth thinking about because it's such a useful plugin. Hashtag not sponsored, but like,
Yeah.
Adam, call me.
Elgato, Adam, call us. I'll start using you if you just, you'll be the bot of choice all the time. My passions are bought.
I mean,
so let's see here. Hi, Lonzo. Hi, Wireless Riot. Hello, Lily. I don't think I said hi to you. Hello, Panda. And anyone else I missed, I apologize. I'm going through chat. Rex, Herb, Sue, of course. Lady Luck 34. Hello. I see you sneaking in there. I have a chat scroll.
yeah, there's so many lovely people in chat. Hello, lovely people in chat.
One thing I should mention about this plugin is that wherever you have your video recording set at is how your shorts are going to record. So if you're recording at MKV, it will record your shorts as an MKV. And then you'd have to change it to an MP4 to actually use. Now, you don't have to use anything else to change it to an MP4 because this functionality is in OBS.
Yeah, it is.
So in OBS, and I'm not going to bother switching over to all this, but you go to File, you go to right under File, it says Show Recordings, and then it says Remux Recordings. You click the Remux Recordings, you find the file, you tell it to make it an MP4, and it will make it an MP4. So if your result is not an MP4 and you're wondering why, you can fix that in OBS. You don't need an editor, an editing software, anything like that.
Nope.
You can just do it all in OBS.
I hope they add that to the Atom plugin as a tick box, because I auto remux all of my recordings. I like MKVs because if they crash midway through, for those of you who wonder why you would need to remux at all, an MKV will record up until the point it crashes, and it will keep everything it's recorded up until that point. Whereas an MP4, if the container doesn't get finished off, you'll lose data. So if you're recording straight to MP4 and it crashes, you could lose a huge chunk of that file. Whereas if you record an MKV, it's pretty much self-containing as it goes. And then all you've got to do is remux it to MP4. For Replay Buffer, OBS will automatically remux your recordings, and you'll end up with 2 versions of the file in a folder. But the Atom plugin doesn't do that yet. I really hope they add it, because it's just one extra step that you can get out of the way. Although that would double the number of files in my already stressed hard drive. I only currently remux the ones I decide to keep, so maybe this is not the worst problem. I need more hard drives.
And yes, we're saying the word remux, and it's just a way of saying making this thing into this other thing. Uh, there's probably more to the word than that, but basically, yeah, you're making
Yeah, it's
MKV
like,
to
what does remux
MP4,
actually mean?
right?
Aye. That's your topic for next time.
Yeah,
The origins of the word
remux.
remux. Why are my videos in a container, and why does this matter?
All right. So let's move on to, if you're comfortable with that, we'll do Wavelink and the Wave software, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and do other things. So let me get that up on the screen. I just think of it like remix, but off-brand.
Off-brand. There's remixing, and then there's Wish.com remixing. Oh, okay, I see.
I see. I just realized something.
The remix you get off Wish, exactly. See, boom.
Remix you get off Wish.
I have the advantage of being able to speak rather than type. This is, unfortunately, I have an advantage, Panda.
All right. So, any last thoughts on vertical plugin before we move on?
No, I mean, I've earned my secret bribery money from Atom. It's really good. It's definitely worth trying. As say, even if you're not quite sure what you might use it for, it's worth having a play with just to see what you could potentially do. I am sure that 90% of people are going to use it for exactly what I do, making a recording of their stream to save. But there's going to be some people who are going to find the most interesting things to do with it, like any other plugin. We do the weirdest things with stuff. So God knows what someone's going to come up with. But it's definitely worth giving a try, particularly if you ever wanted to do TikTok or YouTube Shorts and stuff. It's definitely worth giving a look.
All
It
right.
doesn't even have to be stream related. You can also use it to record like tutorial videos or talking stuff. If you, instead of just holding up your phone and recording it, you can set up an OBS version of that. So you can add production value to stuff that isn't necessarily video game streaming stuff as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah. I mean, you can use, like when I make a tutorial, it's going through OBS. I'm recording that and then editing it down.
So you could do that. You could do vertical versions of your tutorials.
Exactly.
You know, 5 cool things you can do with the Wave plugin. Boom. Here's a TikTok. Drop it on the internet.
Number
Boom,
5
done.
will amaze you.
Yeah. Remember to follow and subscribe to hear what the last one is, and you never tell them what the last one is. Yeah. Oh, but it works though. You're like, I need to know what the last one is, and you go to their channel and you try and find it.
See, I've done this long enough where I'm just bitter at those titles. I'm like, no, I don't want to know.
It's like I try to not hate the player and to only hate the game, but sometimes you're like, I know what you're doing, and I don't like it.
But like that, so I'm gonna plug myself real quick because that's why my YouTube message in chat is what it is, because I find it funny. My YouTube channel is the best. Find out why by clicking here.
Oh, wow. Doctors hate him. Yeah. This one neat trick to becoming a producer to the stars.
Yes.
It's fine though. You get away with it because you're hanging a lantern on it. You know, it's
Right.
fine. Yeah, this is clickbait. Just put that in bold letters, but click it anyway. Thank you.
Click it anyway. I need more views.
Heck yeah. I know, just double check I'm actually subscribed to you. Of course I am. Good. Okay. Phew. It's like discovering when you follow someone on Twitter for 5 years, but you never followed them on Twitch, and you're like, don't perceive me clicking this button. Thank you.
All right, let's dive into audio, shall we? So, Steve and I both use similar audio setups. We have a slight difference, though, which we'll go over. As I said before, in, let's see here, you can type WL for the previous Wavelink video that I've done. So my mic, this one here, is a Wavelink 3, goes right into Wave 3, which goes into my computer via USB cable and goes into the Wavelink software. The Wavelink software goes into OBS. Steven, you have an extra thingy, a couple extra thingies in your setup.
Yes. I came from an XLR microphone. So I have a Rode Procaster microphone, which is an XLR rather than a USB. So originally on my desk, I had a, I want to say, legal pad sized audio mixer, 12 inputs, multiple channels, lots of sliders and knobs and buttons and all the good stuff for a single XLR cable to come into and a USB cable to come out the other end of. It goes straight into my computer. And that served me well for a long, long time. Actually, very, very, very nice little mixer, very cheap and affordable, and very, very good preamp, nice and clean. But yeah, I decided to finally upgrade to something a little more desk friendly, and I switched to the Wave XLR, which now means that I have my microphone. I have a thing called a FET head, which for those of you who maybe know a cloud lifter, it basically just takes the microphone signal and gives it a little bit of extra boost using the phantom power. Because this is a dynamic mic, so it doesn't need phantom power. And then that goes into my Wave XLR, which is about the size of a Stream Deck. Like it's handheld size. It has a very big dial on the front, which is super handy. And then all of the previous EQ knobs and sliders and all that are all done by software now instead. So instead of having physical things that I used to push, I now have the software equivalent of. And I was hesitant because the hardware works. The hardware doesn't get an update and break. The hardware doesn't forget or fall asleep, doesn't get into a fight with Windows. The hardware just works. But I've got to say, after Scenes as Sources and the Atom plugin, I think the Wave XLR might be my next favorite thing. Because it's like, yeah, it's real good. And for those of you who've ever tried to wrangle with virtual audio cables before, oh, what a pain in the bum. I don't know what the language level for your streams usually are, DC, so I'm just going to say what a pain in the bum, and you can dial it up or down as necessary.
Say what you want.
It's a mess. But yeah, so moving from that, basically audio was the thing that my stream was always lacking in. I have 2 Stream Decks with multiple visual things. I've got lots of fancy stuff. I've got lots of bells and whistles. My bots have commands. I've built counters and programs and little things to do all sorts of stuff. And I still, to this day, pretty much stream a microphone and my desktop because audio wrangling has always been so messy prior to this. I just left it alone. It wasn't broken. I left it alone. Since upgrading to the Wave XLR, I have so much more control now because the software has made it so much easier. It comes with essentially a stack of virtual audio cables. So I have my music comes in via Pretzel, and instead of going into my desktop, it goes into one of the virtual audio cables and into my Wave mic software. My microphone comes in as a separate thing. Then games and other things can come in as a separate thing. I have a sound effects button, which I can use if I'm on a Discord call to play my sound effects directly into Discord and all sorts of other stuff. And all of that is done in a single, which I'm sure DC will be able to show, a single little interface. And it's all software based. And so far, it's crashed on me once. One time, which is way less than anything else has crashed on me. So it's reasonably reliable, and it takes up so much less space on my desk. It provides lots of gain, like lots of gain. And it seems to be reasonably good, clean gain too. Like my mic is rather gain heavy. It's about as gain heavy as a Shure SM7B, which is kind of a really popular streamer mic. Basically, I'm pretty sure this has enough gain to throw it at anything you need, particularly if you've got a FET head, which makes it even easier. And it's all done in software. And because, like OBS, the Wave mic software can use VSTs, you can basically apply virtual studio tech. You can do all your EQing or your noise suppression or your cleanup all inside the software, which means it goes from your mic to the Wave software and then into whatever you want. It doesn't have to just go into OBS. It can go into Zoom. It can go into Teams or Skype or whatever, Discord. So your audio can sound great everywhere, which is wonderful. It's so handy. It's so clean. I kicking myself that I didn't pick it up sooner, but like it was tough to get me away from my tried and trusted Behringer.
All right, and I want to go back a second. We did cover virtual audio cable, so stuff like Voicemeeter. If you can use Voicemeeter, great. I think it's a big mess,
Yes.
but all the cheers to you if you can use it. It just seems to like take over everything. I don't understand how to use it, even though it has all the knobs of a professional mixer on it. You don't need any of that really if you're streaming. Even what I do for things, you can do so much with just OBS now and say Wavelink software, which we'll get into the screen. But so audio cables, of course, the XLR cable is your traditional audio cable. Would go into a audio mixer, and then that signal would go out. And in a studio, there'd be something called patch bays, and it would be a wire, right? And they would just be numbers. They wouldn't be labeled anywhere. So you'd have to know how to get that signal. And usually it was mainly for video signals, but any type of signal. So you needed number 3 to go into number 14 because 14 would go out to and broadcast to everybody, right? Like, and so usually, and when I did public access, someone else would have that all set up, so it'd just work, and I wouldn't have to, you wouldn't have to deal with that. But there was this concept of patch bays, and so this is where we kind of get audio cabling and this idea of cables, even though there's no cables anymore. It's just the audio. So let's go into the demo window here. I have it all set up for us. So
prior to messing with because virtual audio cables are so messy, I used to send stuff to my monitor because a lot of monitors have really bad speakers in them. But if you mute them on the monitor themselves, you could use the monitor as a virtual audio cable. And I used to send stuff to my monitor so that it could be picked up by something else. Terrible plan. I mean, it worked, but like, oh, good Lord.
All right.
It's so much easier now.
So they're all just going to be able to hear us, and I'm going to put up the Wavelink software just so Stephen knows what's going on. Okay, so here's our Wavelink software.
There it is.
Now, as you can see, when Stephen talked, he went through voice chat.
It's me. Hello.
Right, and I go through Wave 3 because that's where my mic is. And what I've done is right now we're using Twitch Guest Star. So these channels also serve as your virtual audio cable, if you will. And so my mic, this is the natural Wave 3 thing. But here, for Stephen to be in voice chat, I go into Windows, and I set Chrome up. I can show this in a minute here. Open sound settings. And then right down here, advanced sound options. You click that, right? And then here's all the programs. And then Chrome, I just select Wavelink. Because I have the Wavelink software installed, it understands where to go. Wavelink voice chat. And now anything I do in Chrome goes through Wavelink voice chat.
Yep. Same for Pretzel and VoiceMod there. Different channels. Easy.
Yep, and you can even add some here. This is the specific, the microphone on the end is just for voice mod. I don't use,
nice.
I have voice mod, but I don't use it often, so I don't turn on that mic a lot. But, so yeah, and then you have stuff here, if you need extra audio inputs, you can even tell things here what to use. And we were talking about virtual studio technology, which is this down here, this little wave thing. And now I have these VSTs on. And notice I don't have any for Stephen because I'm going to guess that he's already filtering his audio how he likes it on his end. I don't need to filter his audio again.
Yep, I have one real EQ filter between me and you.
And Elgato made it very easy. You click the plus button, you go to get more audio effects, and they have a whole page set up of things you can download. These are free, and you can download them, put them in, put ones you like. There are loads of YouTube tutorials on this stuff. If you just search audio VST plugins, or even put in the name, like Real EQ is real popular, you can find a bunch of tutorials on this stuff.
And most folks will only need a couple of simple ones. I mean, most people are, they're putting a little bit of EQ on and maybe doing a little bit of noise cancellation, and that's pretty much all they need to go.
And this is just one of those things you have to play with, record yourself a little bit, and test over and over again, and or just send it so you can hear yourself in your headphones, and then talk. Which is I can't hear myself in my headphones because that gets distracting for me, so I have that off. But as you can see, I have monitor mix, so I can hear through my headphones certain sounds, and then what you're all hearing is the stream mix, and that's two different volumes, because sometimes games sound way different in headphones than they do going out to all of you.
Yep.
And so it's useful to keep track of that. Now, you don't even need Wavelength software to use VSTs, because as of OBS 28, I think it was, you can download them and just apply them as filters to your audio source in OBS.
Yep. So if you're not trying to use, a VST or an equalizer or something to send, say, your audio from here to Discord, you're not using it for phone call stuff. You just wanted to use it for your stream. You don't even need this step. You can just do it in OBS, add a plugin, and add your equalizer there. OBS also has a bunch of reasonably solid, basic stuff for noise reduction and stuff like that you can just add in that are already built into OBS. You don't even need to download Reaper plugins or stuff like that. It's already in OBS. But if you did want to clean up your audio before it went to Zoom, you can do this, and then you just tell Zoom that your microphone is Wave XLR Stream Mix, and you're good to go. It's also how you can play sound effects to your Zoom meetings.
Yep. And now, just within the last few updates, they added something where you can select the microphone with your voice plugins as your normal mic for whatever software. So you go to, and it just says Wave 3 voice FX or something, or microphone FX on it. And so you use that as your input mic, and you don't have to do weird audio routing. It's just oh, you want this with all your VSTs active.
Yep.
There you go.
We'll just tell Windows that's your microphone. Cool.
Yeah. And if you want to hear the difference, I will shut off my VSTs, and you can hear the difference in my voice. Just a moment here. So now all the VSTs are off, and you might hear something different. And then when I turn them back on, or back to how I kind of like to sound, or what sounds more natural to me.
Yeah, because you've definitely brought some of the warmth up and brought out some of that room sound. It's it's quite a pleasant improvement. It's nice.
Yeah. So just for an example of what you can do with that, I like turning those on and off. Let's see.
Yeah, it works.
All right. Let's let everyone see us again. Yay, look, it's us. It's not just
it's
us
again.
as audio lines. We're still virtual, but we're not represented by audio lines anymore. We're represented as pixel faces.
But now we can do the thing, right? We can do the thing where we can do the self 5, but it's not a self 5. Look. Yeah. We got it. Yeah, we did it. Look, it's not a self 5. The hands are kind of hidden behind the border. Self 5s. That was a good use. That was a good use of an OBS double camera.
Oh, I forgot. I wanted to set up a thing where I handed you something do you have a piece of paper in here?
Exactly. You hand me a piece of paper, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Why, thanks, DC. That's great.
Just here you go.
Oh, thanks, DC.
Yeah.
That's,
other way.
Let's have a look at that. Oh, yeah. Whoops. You do the kind of Brady Bunch thing. Ah,
Your other left.
yes. Oh, but yes, those
We're
are my
using
two
Twitch guest
favorite
stars, and
things.
it like mirrors our stuff, and so
Mm,
I unmirrored my camera so you can read words. I like it so that I like having my camera set so whenever I'm using, people can just read the words when I hold them up, and because
mhm.
it also I just have problems because my brain then spends the time to try to read everything backwards and like process it. So I just cut that out for myself.
Yeah.
So I've had to. So when I normally stream, I have this mirrored in uh, the Insta 360 link camera. But when I do this through Twitch Guest Star, I have to shut the mirror off. So
We've replaced audio cables with mirroring cameras
cameras,
back and forth
right?
multiple times.
And yes, so I will mention some other products you can use that have audio software with them. So there's stuff like the Beacon Mix Create,
Mm.
and AverMedia has stuff like this as well. So if you're not to the level of Stream Deck and Wavelink love that Steven and I are, there are other options. They just don't get a lot of mention here because we don't love them as much.
Yeah, the AverMedia is good. The Loop Deck one is quite interesting as well. Was it Loop Deck? Yeah,
Yeah,
Loop Deck
yeah,
and
Loop
Razer
Deck.
basically have the same product available in two different versions. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I said there's plenty of alternatives. You don't have to have 64 Stream Deck buttons on your desk.
But I like all my buttons.
Same. I'm thinking about getting the one that you have, the Stream Deck Plus with the knobs,
Oh yeah,
because I'm like, I could just about squeeze it on this side of the keyboard, and then I'd have even more buttons and things. I do like my Stream Decks.
yeah.
I mean, I use them for stuff outside of streaming. I use them for so many things. I mean, my current setup when I'm in a stream, there are 2 empty buttons that I have out of 64 buttons. So when I'm streaming, I have 62 buttons that I use regularly enough that I've kept them all on screen.
All right, we're going to take a break about 5 minutes or so
Mm,
because get up, stretch, get liquids, get your meds if you
mhm.
haven't had them yet, and we'll be back in about 5. So see you soon. We have at least one more thing to cover before we just talk about whatever we want to talk about. So we'll be right back. Hello. Okay, unmuted now because
Hello
I'm
again.
sorry, OBS is having a day with audio. I don't know why. All right. So hey, welcome back to Tech Friday with my guest Stephen Joyce. Hello. No, it's them. Yes, it's us. I don't know. OBS decided that audio sources should just behave weirdly and stuff. So yeah,
I mean, if it's not an audio thing, are you really live? I mean, are you actually streaming?
this is true. So now we're going to get into uh, my favorite thing of streaming is the Stream Deck. I know it's one of Steven's. He has, Steven does the vertical thing first and then the Stream Deck. I'm all about the Stream Deck up
Oh
here.
no,
Right.
reverse.
Oh,
Yeah,
reverse.
vertical is second after the Stream Deck itself.
Vertical is second. Okay.
Mhm,
Okay. Nice. Okay.
mhm.
Excellent.
We're in sync on that
We're
one.
in sync in that. Okay. All right. So, ding. Yes, ding.
I mean, I do take pics of them and post them to the internet, so I suppose there's
Yeah,
yeah.
So we were talking about the wavelength earlier, but if you don't have wavelength, there's an option you can use as of version 6 to control your audio. And like we said, you could just use OBS to control your audio. You can use a Stream Deck to control your audio, and now you don't need to use the wavelength software if you have a Stream Deck, because as of software version 6 of the Stream Deck software, this plugin is available And 6 came out in November of last year, I think. And right now they're at 6.1. But this software is now available for all Stream Decks. It should just be there as long as you're on version 6 or higher. And it's called the Volume Controller. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, it
so
is.
let's get into this. Let's see here. Let me switch windows and hopefully... All right, we still have audio. Okay, so this is the Stream Deck Plus controller thingy. Here, as you can see. And, oops, there we go. I gotta move my cursor across 3 monitors. Give me a break. So as you can see, I have my Stream Deck Plus, and the Stream Deck XL. And I have a blank page here. Otherwise, this is my normal view. This opens all my streaming programs before I go live. This turns on my lights. I have a separate thing for Pretzel because sometimes I need it. And then all my volume dials. Right? And these are brightness for my Elgato key lights. So we'll go back to blank page. And what happened was with the Stream Deck Plus was this handy thing called volume controller and manual detection or auto detection. So what you do is you'd move this over to a dial. And now I can select application. So like when I have Pretzel up, I just select Pretzel. Now I'm controlling Pretzel's volume with the dial. It moves up and down, right? Now this is great because I haven't turned Pretzel on yet. So you won't hear it, but yeah, I'll turn it on. Activate. Activate. There we go. So then I go back here and I can turn it down.
So handy.
And back up. Right? So that let me pause Pretzel again. So that was originally just for the Stream Deck Plus. Now, however, you can use any of these buttons and create a slider. So, again, we take manual detection. You can do auto detection if you want, but I usually do manual. Put one there. We're going to say Pretzel again. And then we're going to type adjust. And step size, this means every button press, how high up and down it goes in volume. So I just want it to go up 5 at a time. And notice it already kind of looks like a slider there. So if you do another one just below it, and you say Pretzel again, adjust, and you go the other direction, say -5. Now look at that. And then if I go to, let's see if I can find I have too many plugins for the Stream Deck. Oh, I have search. There we go, Pretzel. All right. Play pause. There we go. So now when I play Pretzel, then on the Stream Deck Plus, I'm hitting these buttons. You'll see. Oh, whoops. I got to tell the button what to do. All right. So now Pretzel's coming in. Now I'm holding down the button. And the volume goes up. And then I hold it the other way. Oh, well, now we got into a song change, so there we go. So volume up and volume down. And you just have to hold it down. You don't used to be you had to click the button each time you wanted an up or down, but now you can just hold it down. And it'll keep coming up. Just like that. And so that is now available for any Stream Deck that you have. And so you can just set an application audio, and then you can tell OBS to capture that application audio, because that was an update to OBS as well, is that you can capture individual application audio and then you can control it with whatever Stream Deck you have, and you don't even have to mess with trying to move your mouse into OBS and clicking this little slider on the side. Just leave it up, and you have an instant slider.
And it's so neat as well because it's 2 buttons.
Yep.
So it's easy to tuck a couple of those in a corner of your Stream Deck.
And one more thing I forgot to demo. It's like you don't have to be lost on what the buttons do, because you could, if you had even the regular Stream Deck has 3, so you can make that third one an icon for what it is you're using. Or let me go back to the demo. Or what I do is I go here, I can title this. So I can say, okay, this is pretzel. And you can see how it says pretzel on the bottom. And I can change the color right here so it stands out. Say make it like an orange or a green. I say okay. And now it's this nice green color, and you can label all your buttons. You can label all your sliders. So there you go. So thoughts
handy.
on that?
Yeah, it's so neat. And I tell you, talking about labeling buttons, they've actually put in some new improvements on that side of things in the new update as well. So there's some nice. Some of the icons are a little bit easier to fit text in and around, so they're easier to read. Like that volume slider icon is so clean. I mean, it's just it's very, and they've done similar things for some of the other icons where they've just they've made them a little bit less cluttered, which makes it easier to fit text around them. They're much easier to read. I love that. I'm gonna switch over, I think, to using that. I use the bar rater volume sliders at the moment, which is great if you don't want to set up a specific app, because bar rater will check your entire audio mixer, your Windows audio mixer. But it does mean that every time you go into it, it has to refresh. So if all you want to do is turn down a specific thing, having that slider is handy. I currently have a little pretzel control thingy. I've got a play, a pause, and then I've got a couple of different volume settings that I always go to, either 15% or 30%. I might just use the buttons. I might just turn it into a slider and just dial it up and down as I like, because that's nice. I like that. I haven't tried that button yet, so I might do that after this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The way I set this up multiple times just to do it. No one watching, just like I'm pressing this button, I'm holding this down, it's moving on its own.
It's nice. It's nice.
And
it's nice visual feedback of where the slider is as well. Because that's another thing. With things like the bar rater plugin, when you're pressing up and down, what you actually see is a teeny tiny piece of text that says, 90%, 80%, 70%, but it's hard to read at any distance at all. Or if the icon for the program is light colored or dark colored, it can be hard to tell. Whereas that slider gives you a very nice, clean visual indication of where it is relative to the top and bottom. That's nice.
Yep.
I like that.
And for those that don't know, bar rater is might be a person or company that makes plugins for the Stream Deck, and a lot of them are very useful and
wonderful plugins.
Wonderful plugins, yes. So
I think I use about 15 different bar rater plugins now, something like that.
Like if there's not an Elgato native plugin, bar rater has figured something out for what you need. So if you just go to the plugin store, search for bar rater, that stuff will come up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
exactly.
If you want Elgato to make an official plugin, get bar rater to make it first and wait.
Yep. Give them 6 to 12 months and they will have it.
Yep. Hey, another raid.
Hey,
we got music going.
Nice. Wait, is that published sci-fi fantasy author Space Valkyries?
It is. Music. Yay. Okay, music done. Hey, welcome in, Val. Thank you. Published
welcome
author
in,
Space
Val,
Valkyries.
Hello.
Hello, everyone coming in on the raid. We were just talking about our love for the Stream Deck and the new Stream Deck volume control plugin, because I forgot the word there for a minute.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. I love Stream Deck when it doesn't randomly break after an update. Yeah, it's been recently. It's been a little more solid for me. After update after update. So because now they're at 6.1 or something like that, and that's been pretty stable.
Yeah, my 6.1 forgot about my key lights. That was the one
Oh
thing it
wow,
did oddly. It was like, yeah, you need to turn on Elgato Control Center. And I'm like, it's on.
it's on.
Also, you're the Elgato Stream Deck. You think you would know. So I had to do the update in Control Center, and then it was like, oh my god, there are your lights. I'm like, yes, Stream Deck, there they are.
Broke your key light and the high buy camera. Oh no!
Oh, not the high
Oh
buy cam,
no!
but we
Not high
need
buy
that.
cam. Oh, it deleted all your button tiles. Oh no! Titles. That so weird. Yeah, updating things are. It's so weird when stuff works on one person's computer and not on the other, and
Yeah.
it's just bizarre. But even with the frustrations a Stream Deck causes, I still love it to pieces. So
Yep. I think about pre Stream Deck stuff. I mean, even modern OBS is so good at so many things.
mhm.
And I think about like pre Stream Deck, and I'm just going, oh, I remember the hotkeys I had tied to my numpad. And I would switch scenes by doing like control numpad 1, control numpad 2, control numpad 3. And I could control my volume and I could mute my mic. But other than that, like, you know, how many hotkeys can you hold at any one time? You're like, I've got 5 or 6 I use. Whereas now I can do everything with this lovely little thing with glowing buttons that I push. It's great. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I like mine because I've mentioned this before, but uh, I was a video tech for years, and before that, I volunteered at my local public access station. And so I was what they call a technical director. That means the person who pushes the buttons on the big video switcher. And the Stream Deck has buttons like the big video switcher does. And this pleased me to no end because I understand that. I know how to hit things, how to switch things with that. So when there was this thing called Stream Deck, I'm like,
I've been preparing my whole life for this
for this
moment.
moment. It took me 20 years, but it's here now.
And that's how you become producer to the stars.
Yeah. And as I said, there are alternatives, but so there's things like Avermedia has it. There's a thing. The other thing I would be interested in is one called Touch Portal, where you
Mm.
just use your phone or an old tablet, and then you got to be able. Your touchscreen has to be reliable, but you can program all your buttons on a touchscreen. And Touch Portal is free, but it's like $14 for the pro version, so very reasonable.
Aye.
If
And
you
people
like,
do cool things with Touch Portal, like video
yeah,
games and stuff.
yeah. I've seen people do video games with Stream Deck, and I'm like, oh,
I've flown entire flights in Flight Sim without using the keyboard or mouse,
oh wow,
just from the Stream Deck. I have flown planes in Flight Sim with only the Stream Deck. And I use the Stream Deck for a lot of things when I was doing Elite Dangerous game, for example. I used the Stream Deck for a lot of stuff. But yeah, I've flown an entire route in Flight Sim using only the Stream Deck, and I plan on using the Stream Deck for Kerbal Space Program. Um, Kerbal Space Program 2 needs a little bit more time in the oven. It's not quite there yet, but I plan on using the Stream Deck for everything. I'm going to have a whole mission control in front of me, all set up on my Stream Deck. It's going to be awesome.
if Stream Deck could make me a sandwich, I wouldn't need anything else.
I did see something about recently about people using their Stream Deck to turn on their coffee machine. So who
Oh
knows?
wow!
Who knows? Maybe there's a chance.
Like the first bit of tech that can make me a sandwich, no human involved, is the winner to me, and that's all I'll ever need. Is that's my litmus test. Can it make me a sandwich? Then it's the perfect thing.
Yes, the new Elgato, yeah, sandwich maker and the Elgato conveyor belt that you get to bring it from the kitchen to you. Ah, it's a wonderful little system. As I say, there are alternatives, although in my experience, a lot of the alternatives, it's just it's just a time thing.
Hmm.
The software isn't quite there, and because the user base on the Stream Deck side, for good or bad, is the larger user base, a lot of cool stuff comes to the Stream Deck either via Elgato or via wonderful people like Bar Raider, much quicker and easier than it does for the AverMedia or the sort of the Beacon or the Loop Deck.
Oh, and
Ooh.
anyone with a mod sword in my chat, if you could get a shout out to Alonzo who rated earlier and to Space Valkyries, please. It's just a little hard for me to do that right now. But we do have a question from Wireless Riot. What plugins do you all find that you would consider as essential? Let me look at my list. So definitely the OBS plugin. Now I've started going over to the thank you, Panda. I started going over to the official OBS Elgato plugin for OBS, but Bow Raiders has an OBS plugin as well, and their plugin counts on the what's that thing called? The WebSocket
WebSocket, yeah.
working, and sometimes that communication is a little off for me. But with the past few recent updates, the Elgato OBS thing has been just rock solid for me. So I've been using that as my go-to for OBS. And like you're looking for specific plugins. So, Steven, while I look at my
Yeah, I say again, I sing the praises of Bar Raider. I currently use a couple of web socket things. Like, for example, I can turn off the chroma key on my background at the push of a button, because before you had the ability to turn on and off filters in OBS with the Stream Deck, Bar Raider came up with a way to turn on and off filters in OBS with the Stream Deck, and I still use it for things like that. Also, the Bar Raider timer is actually really useful.
Mhm.
Bar Raider timer is basically you set a time in the timer, and when you press the button, it starts writing that time to a text file. You can then use that text file as your countdown stream starting screen thing, which is what I have it for. You can add extra buttons to add extra time. You can do a bunch of stuff like that. And that's a simple, tiny plugin, but it's really useful. I also use a really nice OBS plugin. Oh gosh, I'm going to forget its name now. Spectralizer, which when music is playing, it does the cool, biddly 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 bar thing, the little spectralizer thingy, which is real pretty. That's very nice. And then, as we were saying earlier, the Atom vertical plugin. The Atom vertical plugin. I'm going to keep saying it, but the Atom vertical plugin is seriously one of the just most useful things I have ever put into OBS. Yeah, I mean, it's so good.
Yeah, I also use the voice mod plugins for when I control voice mod because we were talking about mixers earlier, like the Go XLR, and how you don't really need a Rodecaster Pro or a Go XLR to do this. Like there are very specific needs now for those, but if you're streaming and kind of doing what we do with shows and things, you don't need to spend that money on a Go XLR or a Rodecaster Pro. And I think that's especially true within the last couple of months. That you can just do it software, especially with the improvements to Stream Deck and Wavelink and OBS. Now, Go XLR and the Rodecaster Pro are perfectly fine pieces of hardware, but I think unless you have a specific use case where you actually need it now, you don't need to spend that money.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely lowers the barriers to entry, because especially if you can do a virtual plugin to, tidy up your audio, then maybe your headset mic is just fine to get yourself started. You don't
Mhm.
have to worry about it. You don't have to spend the money. The barrier to entry is just gone because it's all there in the software and it's built in now. So,
All right, and going back to plugins, one I like is called Color Picker,
oh yeah,
and what this lets you do is it basically you put it as a button, you click the button, you hover over a color on your desktop, and it tells you what that color is, either in pound sign, whatever. I'm losing words here, or X. And will the Wave software work with other mics? Yes, it will.
yes, that's the best part, because I don't use a Wave mic at all, and it works perfectly.
That wasn't true when it first came out, but now it will. You now to get the Wavelink software, as far as I understand, you do need either the Stream Deck Plus or the Wave XLR or the
Yes,
uh, Wave 3 mic. So you do need one of those things for the software to go. But the Stream Deck Plus is what, $150 investment.
yeah,
So
it's already yeah. You've got to have one piece of kit that comes with it,
yeah,
but you don't have to have an Elgato mic, or even the Elgato Wave XLR if you have the Stream Deck Plus.
yep. So it's not a I like a that's why I also bring up alternatives like Touch Portal, $14, and you can do a lot of the
Mhm.
same things. But again, the ecosystem isn't really there like it is for a Stream Deck. So as much as if Elgato released the Wavelink software and
Could you
charged like
imagine?
$5, they
Yeah,
would rule the space easy. Uh,
yeah. Oh yeah, no. If they just released the software out there, that'd be huge,
mhm.
because it's so much further along in development than I've seen other people trying to do a similar thing, and it's so much further along. Um, yeah, that'd be really nice. I'd say currently it's tied to having one piece of the
Yeah,
ecosystem puzzle.
which I like in that you only need one piece of the ecosystem puzzle. You don't need
Aye.
the Wave 3 plus the anything else. You can just have either the Stream Deck part you need. If you have an XLR mic, you only need the Wave XLR thingy, or you can have the Stream Deck Plus. And yeah, there you go. Color Picker is one I really like because going back to plugins, you just press the button, hover over what you want, and it tells you what the color is. The another plugin I like, it's by Elgato. It's just called Clocks, and it has numerous ways to display time and everything, and you can display time from other locations in the world. So I just have a little folder that says Clocks, and then I try to put as many time zones as I think my friends are in, and I can kind of see what time it is for them. There's also, if you don't like clocks, there's also again, it might be a person, might be a company called Crabs that makes Crabs Clockworks, and that's also a very good
Oh,
timery thing.
nice.
That's Krabs.
I'll have to investigate that. Funny one that actually Sue and I started using a lot. You can do a speed test of your internet speeds with a Stream Deck button, and it will even save a log for you.
Ooh, oh yeah,
And you can have it
yeah.
ping every 50 minutes, because I had internet troubles for the first 2 months of the year, and Sue put a button on her Stream Deck where she could push it to manually do a speed test at any time, but it was also every 15 minutes it would just ping the network and see how the speeds were and save what they were at. So we had a record of our internet basically crashing every so often. Oh, the pain.
Awesome. But and bar rater. Speaking of the excellent bar rater, they
Mm-hmm.
they do have something called Twitch Tools, which
They do.
let you do multiple things. You can even activate shield mode and things like that.
Something that's also been now built into with the newest update, the 6.1 Stream Deck software, shield mode has been added as a button you can add as an action because it was missing up
Oh,
until
nice.
now. It's now been added. So now shield mode comes as standard with the Stream Deck version of the Twitch tools.
And your favorite bot will probably also have, at least among the popular bots, will also probably have a plugin. Like I use streamer.bot and Steven uses Mix It Up.
Aye.
And they both have Stream Deck plugins. So does Atom.
Yeah.
So if you have a bot you like, do that. And because I love having a button for things. I mentioned this earlier. If I can make it a button, I'm going to make it a button.
Mhm.
And now not only does it, use buttons, but it also just displays information like a speed test or the color of a thing or the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny thing that I use my Stream Deck for sometimes, it's a totally random thing, but you're playing a game that's got lots of controls. I like to make Stream Deck buttons for them. But I find that sometimes what I actually like to do is make Stream Deck buttons for them and then put what the control is on the button in text. And then I don't actually press the button, I just read it. So I'm like, oh yeah, H is to bring up whatever. And then I hit the keyboard, my normal keyboard. But it's just like having the manual open in front of me on these little tiny buttons. I don't actually press the button, I hit the keyboard button, but it's a little screen telling me what to press.
Your key map all laid out in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically all you don't have to go hunting in a menu to find out what the controls are. They're literally written out in front of you. It's great. Do you remember Z boards?
I do not.
Z boards, a short-lived and weird invention from many, many moons ago. Like I think early 2000s, and basically they were keyboards where they would essentially sell you a keyboard pre-customized for World of Warcraft or Diablo. And essentially they basically had macro key sets that you could essentially they would put the thing that was the button on the key. So you would buy yourself a Warcraft keyboard. But of course you could also then buy a different game set and put it on top. So kind of like filling in the information on the Stream Deck, you could have keys which just told you what buttons to press. I assume those lasted for a couple of years and then just died.
Also, things I like to do with my Stream Deck because I like buttons is there's something called System. And it comes with Stream Decks. And so you can make a button that just goes to a website or opens a program or puts text into chats, and just like I can do that. And, the Ko-Fi comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a super handy button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like if your friend recently became a published author, you could press a button on your Stream Deck to bring up that text on screen every time they rated you, and you plan on doing it many, many more times.
Hi, Val.
Hi, Val.
You.
There's way too much perceiving going on. They're going to be like, okay, I'm done with being perceived for like a month. Thank you. But yeah, it's such a handy system, and they work so well with OBS. Like, there's just so much stuff. Multi actions, macro actions. There's a really cool new plugin actually, which I'm quite interested in, called Window Mover. I think it's called Window Mover.
I've used that. Yeah.
Yeah. And because sometimes I tend to have everything, I tend to close everything from where it was, so Windows remembers where it was. But sometimes a game will kick something off the screen and throw things around, particularly games that like to be very full screen. They will kick a thing over. You can press a button and it will resort your windows exactly how you wanted them. That's all it does.
It'll even go to the proper monitor.
Yeah. Oh, like particularly if you're on DisplayPort, which tends to be quite dynamic, it likes to move things around and stuff. Just push a button, it resorts your monitors exactly you want. don't have to use that just for streaming. You could just use that for browsing the internet and watching Netflix at the same time, or your work, or whatever.
So when I do my tutorial videos, I have those set up in Windows Mover so that because I often have used the Stream Deck software. So that's just a button on the other Stream Deck that I'm not using. So I can, hit that button and show something else.
Perfect.
I hit that button, that just goes to the monitor in the space I need it in. And, I can start recording my video.
It's so it just saves you like a minute of moving a thing.
Yeah.
But you do that for so many things, and you save yourself a minute here and a minute there. I mean, I press a button and it opens all my stuff. I press a button, it turns everything on, as opposed to opening 7 programs or whatever. It's just so handy. I don't think I could live without the damn things now.
Yeah, I don't know how they function.
I'd sit down at my computer and I'd be like, how open program? I don't. What is this thing? How do I click on the icon? Is it double click? Is it single click? I don't remember. I just push a button. Oh, wonderful, wonderful ecosystem though. One thing I do like about the new Stream Deck update as well. One cool thing, if you haven't given a source button a name, it will now pull the source name from OBS directly.
Oh, nice.
So you don't even have to put the title on. Yeah, so if you have a random source in OBS and you pull it in to make a button, if you don't put a title in, it will read OBS and figure out what the title is and put it on the key for you. Again, just saving you a few seconds. If you just want to grab a thing and drag it in really quick and make a button really fast, it'll tell you what it is. Super.
And
again, hashtag not sponsored, but seriously, Elgato,
Elgato.
just send us the extra wide green screens, please. Thank you.
Please, extra wide green screens. Elgato.
Yeah, please.
Elgato. I love this.
I try to see if I can pick up both of mine and hold them up, but I think I've got the cables managed too well.
Oh, yeah.
Aye. But yeah, there's so many cool things. And again, a lot of this, you don't need it to get streaming, but the barrier to entry is so low that, OBS does so many things now, and a couple of hotkeys, you're probably good to go. But if you do have a Stream Deck, oh boy, you can do everything in the world with one.
You can even control Discord with a Stream Deck. So,
Yep. I love that thing. The go to a specific channel.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I never thought of that before.
That's right. I texted you about that.
Yeah, like, you messaged me, and I was like, wait, what? And then I told Sue. I was like, you'll never guess. DC just told me, how have we never thought of this? What do you mean I could go straight to the channel in a Discord? Because I'm like a lot of people. I have like, hold on, do I even want to look? I think I'm a member of 236 Discords or some silly number, like a big number. And I'm like, I check the same 15 or so every day.
Yeah.
But I go there manually and click and go to the place.
So on the Stream Deck I just held up, there's a button that says Discord channels. And in there, I just set the Discord channels that I go to most often and line them up. And so it just goes right to the channels I want to see in that Discord. Now, some Discords I click through more, but the main channels are all ready to go at a press of a button, and it just switches through. As long as Discord is open, Discord already has to be open for this to work. But, yeah. Elgato, please. Thanks, Panda.
Elgato, please.
Elgato, please.
I mean, I've been asking for them to make a Stream Deck XXL long boy for a long time, and they never did. So I even sent them a photoshopped version of what it should look like. I basically photoshopped 2 Stream Decks together and tidied up the logo. But in the end, I ended up just having 2 Stream Deck XLs. But if they wanted to make a Stream Deck XXL long boy, they should let me know. I'll be very happy to test it out.
And so my Stream Deck setup, just so everyone knows, I have Stream Deck Plus is my audio. Stream Deck XL controls the streaming things and the buttons. And then the regular Stream Deck is the tools I use for pointing at things and zooming into things. And that's where the color picker is. That's where the Discord channels are. That's where all kind of the utility things are on that one. And so I have them separate that way in my mind. And even though I could just use one for all this stuff, I don't. Uh,
But why would you
Why?
use just one? Like, no, 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 no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no,
if
no.
I didn't have the Stream Deck Plus, I wouldn't have volume knobs, and I really enjoy turning knobs. I'll let that go off on the
I
internet. Um,
I have to say that the knob, the very big impressive knob on the front of the Wave XLR, I'm very very impressed with that. Although the nicest thing about the Wave XLR was that they let you control what color the lights are. They
ooh,
let you set the
excellent.
RGB. So my volume control is little purple lights because of course. But when I noticed I could do that, I was actually way more impressed with that than anything. I was like, "Ooh, I can change the color of the lights. Perfect." It's the little things.
Yeah, and the knobs on the Stream Deck Plus, you can push in to do different things. You can
Yeah.
turn them. The strip above it is a touchscreen strip, and that will always mute a audio source. So you can have the button do it, but if you make it a dial stack where you're having it do multiple things for a volume,
Hmm.
you can just tap the touchscreen and it'll always mute the source for you if you take that way in the dial stack.
Yeah, the fact that you can press them in is super handy because it just expands the amount of functionality you can get.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a well thought out piece of kit. It is. Just needs another 18 buttons. Could you imagine a Stream Deck XL sized version of the Plus?
Oh wow!
Like just like because the buttons are slightly more spaced out
Uh-huh.
as they would need to be, but maybe just sort of 6 or 7 buttons across, 2 rows, and then the touch screen and like 6 or 7 knobs across the bottom.
That'd be amazing.
Ooh. Hmm.
But if I did that, I might actually get rid of one of my Stream Decks and just use that one.
No, as I said, you need a Stream Deck for the kitchen and a Stream
Oh,
Deck for the
right.
bedroom
The
and a
Stream
Stream
Deck
Deck for
that
the
makes
living room.
toast.
I mean,
So,
I just give all my spare Stream Decks to Sue at this point. So it's like,
are there any questions from chat? Because Steve and I can go on for quite a bit, as we already
yeah,
have.
exactly. Sorry, you brought me on. What were you thinking?
This is exactly why I brought you on.
What's the one thing your Stream Deck can't do? Can it turn this off? It's the one thing it can't do.
I mean, I can just hide your video.
True, fair. It can hide by you though.
Right. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. So if you have any questions on streaming, streaming tech, by the way, if you have any questions on streaming tech, anything we've gone over, the Wavelink, the Stream Decks, other stuff, I'll even take questions on StreamerBot and other bots. I have not found the bar rater tool to shut Steam.
One day.
One day.
We have a
One
tool
day.
for everything else. Oh dear.
So yes, eventually this will go up on my YT, and I'll cut out the volume issues, the audio issues. So exclamation mark YT for my YouTube. Go there, please. Like, subscribe, all the things. Just like I need more subscribers to my YouTube, so subscribe there, please, if you haven't already. And I have a playlist called Tech Fridays and another one called Tech Demos, where all the tech things go. So by say Tuesday or so, this should be up on the Tech Fridays thing, and it'll be edited down just a little bit. I'm going to, because editing these down takes a lot of time, I'm not going to edit them as much anymore, and just take out small segments and put those in tech demos, because it's too much of my time for, I don't get anything for it. So
They are very good. I'm biased, but they're very good. I
well, thank
regularly will
you.
go back and watch them, sometimes more than once. You're like, there's the same view again from the same country. Yep, that was me again. I was just reading back through it. Like I'll watch it and then I'll watch it as I work alongside whatever it is. I'm looking at the plugin or whatever.
Yeah, what surprised me is the very first one I did. The very first tech demo I did has over 900 views, and I don't understand how that number keeps going
Amazing.
up.
Yeah.
Why?
It's the
How
weird
is this
thing with
happening?
YouTube. It's
Yeah.
there forever. And it just keeps growing. But they're very good, as I say. They're very, very good. Highly recommend. Do the like, subscribe, notification bells and things.
All the bells and whistles.
All the bells, yes.
Click like and subscribe.
Anyway, if you want to swing by Stephen Joyce's YouTube channel while you're there, also need the subscribers.
Learning a lot from the stuff DC's putting out. Yeah, thanks, Rex. I really
Yeah,
appreciate the
exactly.
support. I do. And to follow Steven's Twitch. And what was your website again?
StephenJoys.com.
StephenJoys.com. Go there, and you can find all the things that are Stephen Joyce.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy a lot of stuff.
Pretty sure I subbed to both of you on all my Gmail accounts, but I'll double check. Thank you, Panda. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Panda.
it. Thanks, Panda.
Thank you, Panda.
Thank you, Panda. So go to Steven's YouTube to check out all the amazing YouTube shorts that he's doing.
Well, yeah. Case in point, you want to see what a YouTube short made in Atom looks like? My YouTube is where they are, with the exception of the subtitles, which I add afterwards because I like to have them burnt in. Everything is done with just the OBS plugin. So, happy days.
Amazing. And that's youtube.com/@StephenJoys.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's me.
It's really Stephen Joyce everywhere.
Pretty much. With the exception of TikTok, because there's a person called Steph who enjoys stuff, and she's there, and I'm like, darn it! But hey, she got there first.
Yep.
More than fair. So I think I'm Stephen Joyce _ on TikTok, which I don't use yet. But now that I'm making all these shorts, like I now have 20 something shorts. I might just do a run on TikTok one of these days and just do them one every day. I think the TikTok algorithm likes that. So I might wait until I've got like a solid month's worth and then just post one every day.
Yeah, I did one YouTube short and it got over 100 views in a day. I'm like,
yeah, okay. It's weird. If it gets picked up, it just goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then like your other videos, you'll see randomly like it went up an extra 50 views today or an extra 100 views today because it's gotten fed back in again and fed back in again and fed back in again. So, yeah.
So, if there's no other questions, Stephen, you've spent about 2 hours with me, and I thank you for that.
I could do this all day.
I know. I could talk about the Stream Deck for another hour at least.
Tune into your 12 episode series
where it's just Steven and I talking about the Stream Deck.
Talking about the Stream Deck.
We did it all in one day. It was like 12 hours, but we've cut it down for you.
Make an entire TV show about two people and their just unnatural love of the Stream Deck.
So, Stephen, before we go, are there any other plugins or anything you use that we haven't mentioned, or any piece of tech you really like?
No, I think we've pretty much covered all the stuff that's currently like that I'm super happy with. Definitely, I think we've covered everything. Non-Stream Deck related, I do very much still use GIFbot, which I don't know if you've seen before. But GIFbot is how I put a lot of my animated stuff up on screen. It was actually made by Fierce Kittens, who's a fellow Wookie Cookie team member.
Okay.
So I use that for certain things. And I think that's just like GIFbot R. Let me just see. Let me just look it up. Yeah, it's gifbot.io is the address, and I like it. It's nice and simple and easy to implement. It's just it's an overlay that you put into OBS, and then you could connect to channel points so people can redeem things. So people will redeem, a Serby pop-up, and my Serby toy will pop up on stream, that kind of stuff. And you can use it for all sorts of stuff like that. And that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything else, I think. Excellent.
So we've covered it. We haven't talked about it nearly enough. We should talk about it more. I want to thank Stephen very much for being here. You have the very last minute to get in questions. So if you have any last minute things while I'm going through this. So thank you, Stephen. Please check him out. Stephen, you are on a charity stream tomorrow, right?
I am. I'll be on a one shot tomorrow. On Tom's channel. Only Tom will tell. Formerly Art for the Apocalypse. You might know. Let me get a link to it in the chat. There we go. I think I did it right.
Excellent.
Did I do it right? Yes, there we go. So lots of lovely folks. Published author Space Valkyries, for example, Wireless Riot, Lady Luck, or Bohemian, and myself. And it's a Monster of the Week. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but they're great fun. Think kind of Scooby Doo / Buffy the Vampire Slayer / that kind of end of things. They're great fun though. I did a Stranger Things one once. It was wonderful. So that should be a lot of fun, and that's on tomorrow. And then other than that, like my normal streams, Monday evenings, Wednesday evenings, Saturdays and Sundays, I'm doing a lot of stream racing, Nitro stream racing. It's like marbles on stream, but with Mario Kart, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. That's good fun.
Yeah,
I don't
that is a
think
lot of
anything
fun.
else.
What,
I like it. It's great.
Yeah. What are you doing this Saturday and Sunday for stream?
This Saturday and Sunday, I will be doing some We Were Here Forever. Myself and Sue tend to do co-op games on a Saturday. And it's a kind of a, slightly scary, but not scary, sort of escape room-esque puzzle game. And that's good fun. And me and Sue do that. And then Sunday, Coral Island, the sort of farming sim, has a new update coming out. I think it's just come out. So I'm going to have a look at that, and I'll probably squeeze in some more stream racing because I've got to unlock the skins from my car.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that a lot.
I've been
I
playing
want
that
the
along.
rainbow skins.
I've been playing that along with you, and it's a lot of fun.
I like that.
It's one of those things like marbles on stream where you're just like, this is such a, I don't want to say simple, but such a cool idea, and it seems like, I don't know a good word, but basic. I don't want to say basic, but easy thing, and it's so much fun. And I really like people that have put a lot of thought into that and make it. And Nitro is one of those things that just, it's easy to get into. It's not a lot of mental load on you. You're not learning a ton of buttons. It's just fun to watch and play along.
And because they've got the website as well as the in chat. So people who are playing in chat can put in, join the race in chat, but you can also control it from the website. So you don't even have to type in chat all the time. You can just click a button on your screen if you want. But I like it because I like commentating along with the races. Even though it's entirely random number generated, I like commentating, like cheering on a racer and hoping they'll do well, and then they crash, and I ask them why. It's like it's not their fault. But it becomes a whole like I treat it like it's real racing. That's how we're going.
It's a lot of fun. So check that out. Check out Stephen. Stephen Joy's everywhere. And once again, I'm DC. You can find me under DC Lasair just about everywhere. That's DC Lasair. Please go to dclasair.bio.link, the link to all my links to find all the things. You can even email me there. I mean, I have an email that people can use if you so do. And
can they email your Stream Deck? Bar Raider probably has a plugin to show your emails on Stream Deck.
So there's my email. If you want to email me, just copy and paste that into your email program, info.dclasair@gmail.com. That will reach me. I'm a producer, streamer, moderator, all the things. I wear many hats. So check it out. Also this Sunday, since I produce Rivals of Waterdeep, check out Rivals of Waterdeep. We're deep into season 15. So check it out. It's a great show.
It is.
And that'll be fantastic. So yay, Rivals emotes. Yay. So go see Rivals on Sundays, and come join in the whooshing. It's fantastic.
I have never missed a single whoosh. I don't intend to start now.
Yep. And thank you all for being here. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. And I will be back here Monday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's daylight savings time for all those in time zones. And we have this weird time zone adjustment thing. It's all PDT, EDT. Here's DC say rivals immediately wonders if they're late.
Whoops! What day is it? Oh no!
I've been playing Power Wash Simulator. I have also started playing, I think it's called Sun Harvest, which is
Ooh, what's that?
it's a great game. It's like Stardew or Coral Island, except there's you can be a monster or an elemental. You start off in a human village. There's an elf village and a monster village. You grow crops. You can fight monsters. You can romance elves or monsters or anyone, regardless of gender. Of the NPCs, it lets you do it, but there's multiple NPCs. And hey, Serious Ray, right at the end.
Hey.
There's music.
Do you like the music?
You probably can't hear it, Steven.
I have the stream on slightly lower down.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
serious.
thanks for coming on in. Do a shout out right as we're wrapping up. So so yeah, let's talk about Sun Harvest and welcome in Raiders. Thank you so much.
That sounds like a great game. I'm gonna look that up now on Steam.
Yeah, so I'm on like day 5. I just started. So I'm slowly doing all the things like in Coral Island. It takes a while to build up to where you're kind of more independent. You're still meeting people and doing all the quests, but there's a mine you go into, and the mine is just a mine cart. So whatever mine level you've unlocked, you just click that, and the mine cart will zip you to that level.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it on the Steam page now, and it's in the sale because
And
of
it's
course
in
the
the
Steam
sale,
Spring
yeah.
sale is on, and we love that.
So if you like games like Stardew and Coral Island and Core Keeper, give it a go. You might like it. There's some role play elements. You can romance a whole lot. I want to get into the romancing of all the people. Can you throw mayo at people? I haven't found the mayonnaise yet. You might be able to make mayonnaise, and I just don't have it yet. So I don't know. We'll have to find out.
It's one of Sirius's top questions. Can I chase people around with a
With
jar of
mayonnaise.
mayo?
I know you can give people apples and oranges because you shake a tree and they fall off, and you're just holding this giant apple, and you can either eat it or gift it to someone.
Nice.
So that's Sun Harvest. So yes, thank you for coming in. Once again, if you're just coming in and you missed all the things, this will be up on my YouTube Monday or Tuesday of next week when I can get around to it, basically, because like all streamers, it's just me.
Yeah. You're your very own producer to your very own star. Oh.
So thanks once again for Stephen for coming on in. This has been
Thank you for
really
having me. This was great.
fantastic.
I hope I sort of did what you wanted.
I wanted you to talk about tech, and you did that.
Yeah. We didn't even get to graphics cards. Whoosh.
No. We got to talk about ray tracing and HDR.
Yeah. Oh, AV1 encoding though, very big streamer tech.
Yes.
Will eventually be super duper important.
Yes. Look for AV1 encoding. And when it becomes not just tied to the expensive NVIDIA cards, I'll talk about it. But right now it's tied to the expensive NVIDIA cards.
Yeah. Some of the cheap Intel ARC cards have AV1 encoding, but they don't have the gaming playing stuff. So
Right.
it's a bit of a... But yes.
But yes,
You can have me back for that show.
oh yeah. So yes, we'll talk about what AV1 is and all that other times. I have a couple more guests lined up for Tech Fridays, so
Sweet.
please, I'll make those announcements when I get to it. So just follow me on Twitter. Thank you all once again for being here. It's been brilliant. It's been a lot of fun. Please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a great weekend. And I will see you all Monday, and I will see you all in. Also, I'll see you all in Steven's streams and rival streams, because you're all going to those, right? And the
Of
charity game
course.
Steven's in tomorrow. You're all doing that, right? I don't. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. We can end. People are doing the things. Okay. I will see you all later. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Everybody, bye.